So here we go, guys. Finally here, Type 59, or some like to call it the Hype 59. It looks great. Well, it basically looks like a T54 in some respects, and I think it's gonna play very much like it. This is actually the gameplay that I have coming up here is actually my first game in it, so I haven't played this tank at all. So I was very curious to see how the mobility was, because some of my clan members, they had told me that it was kind of sluggish, and that's something that I don't like my medium tanks to be. So anyway, just showing you the basic layout that I carry on this tank. Nothing special. I'm not gonna go into details about the tank and the armor, etc. today. I'm gonna do a full tank review of it when I have a bit more time. But for now, I just want to maybe give you an idea of whether or not this is a tank you want to purchase by showing you some gameplay. So we're on the first map, and this is Fort Despair, and I spot one of my friends on the enemy team, Love and Trust from the Fun Zone clan. They're a great bunch of people. I always enjoy meeting them on the battlefield. They are very well mannered, they are kind, they are friendly, so it's always a pleasure to meet them, regardless if they're on the green or the red team. So I decide to try to flank around just to see what I'm gonna meet. I want to try to find out if this thing is really as good hold down as it seems. But I'm not really gonna have the opportunity to do that now. And Love and Trust, he says that he likes my YouTube videos, and well, surprise for him, he's gonna go on YouTube with this game. So I don't think he'll appreciate it though, even though he does actually have a very good game. But anyway, I'm pushing around here, trying to get around, see if the enemy have had some tanks flanking. I try to be a bit careful here, and you'll see one thing that I do try to do on this tank. That is, I want to try to conceal the right side of the tank, because the left side is much stronger than the right side. And you just saw there the terrible accuracy on the move. So I spot the VK here. I decide to push in. Actually, he has my right side now, and that's not a great position. So I decide to go up to him and try to give him my front. I also want to be testing out the armor on this tank, so I want to be able to see how I should be angling it to know whether or not or how I can bounce as many shots as possible. And it's a bit tricky because the VK, it does have fairly good penetration, and that's the VK is not the type you're typical, or the enemy you're typically going to be meeting. You're typically going to be meeting some lower tier or some same tier medium tanks whose guns don't have the same amount of penetration as the VK. So the Jackson, he's camping on the hill. I said, okay, let's check out what the HE ammunition can do. I know the Jackson is very thinly armored, so I load a HE and bang, 296 in one shot. So that was a pretty decent result. I see there's an IS behind me. I'm a bit concerned that he's going to shoot me, but my armor actually manages to bounce the shot. I see the Churchill there, go in for a push on him. I actually rather to be taking out Love and Trust, but someone from my team takes him out before I do. So now it's just me against the Churchill, and again, this is not spectacular. I wanna try to test the armor in the first games that I do, and I have a perfect opportunity here. IS, and I'm giving him my left side, or trying to give him my left side, hoping he's gonna shoot. I have to wiggle a bit, but I get too close, and he actually manages to put a really good shot into me. And unfortunately, I was kind of tunnel visioning here. I wasn't really thinking about how the game was progressing. I was more curious to test the armor of the tank, because basically that's going to be the selling part of the tank for me. So and in all fairness, this gameplay didn't really show that much about the armor capabilities of the tank, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna show you some gameplay later on in when I do a full tank review of this tank that really showcases how the armor can perform once I've gotten to learn the tank a bit better. Anyway, I predict that this game's going to be a loss. Me and Love and Trust, we have a bit of a joking around session on the global chat, um, but we still do have the great VK 3006, and he is He is kind of AFK, I think, because he was looking reverse with his turret earlier. So I decided to go back and check out what he's doing. Um, I guess the enemy, they might go cap, or they might try to find him. But I told them that he was AFK. So I'm not sure that they are gonna go cap, but I can see they do decide to go cap. So anyway, I think we should jump to some more gameplay. This game is gonna end with our VK pushing to the cap circle to try to defend, but just gets killed. So first game defeat. Second game, let's see how that one works out. So here we go with the second gameplay of this video. I'm on Dead Rail, which is a pretty decent map. I spot the enemy have two pretty strong tier 8s, but one thing that the tier 8s they don't have is great penetration, and this is going to give me an opportunity to see how strong the armor is. I spot that there's a clanmate of mine on my team. He's platooning with one of his friends, so I sent him a quick greeting and decide let's go push into the center of this map. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that what I like to do on Dead Rail is make a spotting run initially, and this is also going to give me an opportunity to test out the mobility. So you can see I'm pushing towards the center area here, going up, spotting 2 tanks, not getting shot, luckily, and swirling back around to try and engage this comet. Now the comet has very bad penetration in general, so I'm not too concerned about him, and I do manage to put a shot into him. So pushing after him, I decided, okay, let's go for another shot. I see I'm actually bouncing quite a lot. The enemies are shooting at me from quite far away, and they are primarily tier 7 and tier 6 enemies. So against these kind of enemies, I really think you're going to be able to dominate the games big time, because yeah, well, the armor on this tank, even though it's 100 millimeters, which might not sound like much, it's very well sloped. So that means that the effective armor, without having checked an armor inspector, is probably something like, yeah, 170 to 200 millimeters. So that's really gonna mean that you can bully all tanks that are a tier below you. So I'm mixing shots here, putting the damage into the enemy. I see that my team is doing quite well, and I feel I've been contributing pretty much to this game. Not having any trouble so far, and simply putting a shot in the top hatch of the Comet's turret. So the tier 8s are behind me, but I want to clean up these tier 7s and 6s first before we go and engage those guys. So basically, another thing that you might notice on this replay is that the gun it doesn't have a great reload. It only fires 6 shots a minute, which really isn't it isn't all that much, and that's, to be fair, that's one of the downsides I feel of this tank. That is the pretty low DPM. So any tier 8 or tier 7 even medium tanks will out trade you effectively if they penetrate all their shots. So that's not a great feature of this tank, but I guess it does kind of mean that it's more balanced than it normally would be, because if this tank had great DPM, well, I mean, you have great armor, decent mobility, and great DPM, and that would probably just be very overpowered. So anyways, we finished off the tier 7s, tier 6s. I decided to push over to the T-44. I don't really know what these guys are doing, and I smash into the trains. And you can see from where I was looking here, the upper part of the T-44's hull was kind of red for me. So that means I have a hard time penetrating him. So I actually decided to load an APCR, which is kind of a big waste because he was giving me his side. But regardless of that, I do manage to take it out. So pushing up the hill, we have the KV-5 who's got his turret looking the wrong way. That's not a nice idea, but I finish him off and finish on 4 kills, doing some decent damage. So anyway, let's just check out the credit earning potential of this tank. So that's another thing that's been very interesting. I think so. This was actually an Ace Mastery badge, and for only 3,500 damage, I picked up 92,000 credits. And that's because the ammunition cost on this tank is very low. It's only 252. So I hope you liked this short video, introduction of the Type 59. I'll be coming up with a full tank review